Hi everyone, we're yet again back with another episode of Off the Record with me, Saman. And I'm really glad that this year is turning out to be really great with a lot of different folks that I meet through this podcast. And we're able to give out the maximum information that we could give out related to a college, related to a degree, and a lot of other things that we talk about during the podcast. So here again, we're back. I hope so. You're all ready with your cup of teas and coffee or juices. And today we have a really special guest, and this is a very special month. So, Women's History Month and all that things that goes around the month is something very important for me and my guest as well. So, I wish everyone happy Women's History Month again. And with that being said, I have Mansha here, and she is doing her master's. She's almost on the verge of getting graduated, and that's the best part, that she'll talk about a lot about University of Buffalo, the course that she's doing, why did she pick up this course, and a lot of other things that we'll pull up through the hour. So welcome, Mansha, and I'll let you introduce yourself to the folks.
Thank you, Saman. Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction that you gave about me. I'll tell more about myself. I am Mansha and I'm from India. I did my undergraduation in computer science engineering. And after that, I had 3 years of work experience with Deloitte in cyber risk services. So I primarily worked on a lot of things in cyber risk. When I was with Deloitte, I also interned with Deloitte for about 4 months back in India. And after when I was in Deloitte and I was doing my job. Within that span of 3 years of work experience, I realized that I should be going for masters, and that's when I realized, okay, I should be going for my masters, but which degree? And I thought, okay, I would not want to go into computer science again. So this is when I chose MIS, Management Information Systems, in the track of cybersecurity, and I'm here at University at Buffalo doing my master's in management information systems in the track of cybersecurity. I came to Buffalo in July 2023, and then I did my summer semester, my fall semester, and now I'm here in my spring semester. MIS is basically more about tech plus management. So when I say cybersecurity, it's more about the whole thing, the tech as well as the managerial part. So we learn more about the core cyber things as well, plus more about the governance and policies and auditing, risk management, all of these things. So it has been really an amazing journey till now with the university at Buffalo. Of whatever I have learned with the professors, the curriculum is amazing. It has been amazing.
Thank you so much for that, Mansha. And we've heard a lot good things about the MIS course at Buffalo, and obviously we'll be drilling down more through you about the course. But before that, that's something, the common thing between the two of us, because I also did my master's in information systems, and that too a specialization in cybersecurity, and that too a 1 year course. So
Wow.
that's almost the similar one. It's just we started at fall. So before we actually go ahead, drill down into the curriculum, and actually that would have been the main factor for you to choose that course. But before that, I just wanted to ask, like, were there any other universities or institutions that you did applied apart from University of Buffalo as well, and there were a couple of acceptance for you when you were planning up to come here?
Yes, absolutely. So I applied to four colleges, four universities: University at Buffalo, Arizona State University, University of Texas at Dallas, and CMU, Carnegie Mellon. Of course, Carnegie Mellon was my like dream university, like any other student, because it's that Ivy League. But at the same time, I was hoping to get a scholarship, but I could not, and it was very expensive for me. So I could not afford at that point of time to spend this much amount of money. And I got admits from all the colleges, but eventually I chose University at Buffalo. It's because of the flexibility in choosing the electives and the path in which I wanted to go. It really helped me, And I also talked to a lot of seniors from ASU, from Arizona State University, from University of Texas at Dallas, and University at Buffalo. After talking to a lot of seniors, I got to know about their problems, their university issues, and how they are dealing with it, etc. And finally, I chose University at Buffalo then.
That's great. I guess that's the factor where you actually, pick out on a lot of things. We'd come down to Buffalo and how Buffalo stood out when we see ASU, we see obviously UT Dallas, and then obviously we have CMU as well, because there are a lot of factors that comes in between. One is the city, or maybe
Yeah,
the weather, maybe the city expenses, and
right.
the level of scholarships that you get, or the level of flexibility that you see in the course, or maybe it's just the duration of the course, that this
Right.
is 12 months, this is 18 months. So what was your, like, the criteria that you took, and from which the first position went to Buffalo?
Right. So if I compare all the universities, so CMU was out in the very initial stage because of the financial restrictions for me. So I was left with UT Dallas, ASU, and Buffalo, right? So UT Dallas was also out in the initial stage for me because it was 2 year course. I was preferably wanting a 1 year course, so I was confused between ASU and University at Buffalo. I read the curriculum, I talked to a lot of seniors about the curriculum, and then the location was also a criteria for me. I heard that Arizona State University is in Arizona, of course, but it is at a place where it's too hot, like too hot, and it's like a deserted place also. The campus is huge, the campus is amazing. There are a lot of opportunities for students, for undergraduates as well as graduates. But because it was too hot, I did not want to go there. That was one of the reasons, of course. Plus, considering the 1 year course, Arizona State University was a bit expensive. Not a bit expensive, it was expensive than University at Buffalo. So, if I compare the expenses also, University at Buffalo won here for me. Apart from this, I know a lot of seniors with whom I talked and interacted. The path what I wanted, and when I see the alumni going in different companies and doing the work that they are currently doing with their companies, I would preferably want that kind of path for me. So when I talked to them about their experiences, their the curriculum that they had, how did they go through everything during their duration of their study. So after talking to a lot of seniors about their scenarios, I got to understand, okay, this is something I would want, and preferably it was because of the curriculum itself, because we were given the flexibility to choose what we want to study, and it was easy for us. Coming to the overall other expenses, like living expenses, so here in Buffalo, I would say uh, 700 to $800 would be something per room, per house. If you're living in a private room, is something that it's very okay for people to give. But for ASU, when I was talking to a lot of seniors, it's the expenses go around $1,000 per month. So it was also a thing because I'm already paying a lot in the university, and the living expenses would also level up. So the overall expense rate was going very much in ASU's side, and compared to Buffalo, of course. And curriculum wise, also for me, Buffalo won over here. I knew that Buffalo had its extreme temperature stories because when I was talking to seniors, I got to know
Was
it gets
supposed to be
really
my
cold.
next question. Did you actually weigh out like the temperatures as well? Because Buffalo is pretty extreme and pretty brutal when we talk about the winters there.
True, true. So right now it's March, right? But sometimes it's like 20 degrees Celsius and sometimes it's like 1 degree Celsius. It changes within a day. And whenever I'm talking to my parents about this, they also get shocked. And I say, oh, yes, certainly, because I'm also getting shocked. I wake up every day and see very different temperatures over here. It sometimes gets really extreme. 20 degrees and then 1 degrees the
Yeah,
next day.
that's something that really hits a lot, because I've been just there as a tourist, like not Buffalo, but I've been to New Jersey, New York, and I did my schooling from Atlanta, so it's pretty like absolutely the opposite sides of everything. And with temperatures, I felt like I can die with that weather, because we being Indians, we haven't seen the brutal side of winters in India. For us, it's now I understand that I can actually roam around in normal t-shirts or like just sweatshirts in India, but not here actually, because it's pretty different. And when we move to different areas as well, we feel the brutality of the weather. So New York was pretty brutal on those ends, when we see the temperature. And probably Buffalo is more away from the city, like 4 5 hours, and then it's near Niagara and everything. So
Wow.
it's bitter there when we talk about the temperatures. So yeah, I guess that
Certainly.
would have been a difficult choice. ASU being the hottest and Buffalo being that cold, but somewhere some things have to be taken across. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. And to be honest, what you discussed about the housing, that $700-800 you get a private room, that's pretty good. Like, I would say that's a great price, because what I see in Atlanta, like what I have seen back in my schooling days, it's pretty expensive there too. If you want to live privately, that's more of 1,200 or $1,000. And also it depends on the place that you take up. So there could be like unsafe areas, you know or there could be areas which are very expensive, but they're farther away from the college, or there's no public transport. So $700-800 is a great bet. If I would have gotten it, I would have taken it.
Yeah, and also there are a few places in South Campus in Buffalo who
Mhm.
all I know my friends who pay $400 per month for their room, and I also know people who pay $900. So on an average, it comes out to be
Yeah.
700, 800. So that's what.
That's great actually, and at least because we also need our level of privacy, that we're students and then we're searching for jobs and a lot of other things. So that comes handy, that at least you get your
Mm.
own time and you can go with that. But everyone's perception is different on that, and we'll not go into that. But that's great information that you shared about the curriculum and how you chose between the three other colleges that you put down and you took up Buffalo. Whoever in the crowd is actually wanting to choose, they could have those elements as well. But when we talk about your application and your selection process at University of Buffalo, um, what was their criteria while you were filling up the application, and any test score they needed, any essays they wanted, any video interviews? Like, if you could just walk us through the process of the selection and how did you apply the application?
Absolutely. So, I remember ASU waived off GRE from home. I remember it was COVID time and I gave GRE from home because we couldn't go outside, right? So, GRE from home was my thing, but ASU said no, we are not accepting GRE from home, but you feel free to apply without GRE. So, for ASU, I applied without GRE. But for other three universities, CMU, University at Buffalo, and UT Dallas, I had to provide my GRE score to them. My GRE score was 315. So I had applied with my GRE score with these three university, and for ASU, I did not go with the GRE score. Apart from the GRE score, they also asked for the letter of recommendations. So every university has different criterias, right? So University of Buffalo wanted one letter of recommendation. Arizona State University, on the other hand, I think it required two. Similarly, UT Dallas required three, and I don't really remember about CMU. But the good thing about CMU was that it also wanted a interview. So when I was selected, like the first round was done, they wanted my like the interview. They would tell me the question, and I would have to answer that, and I would send the video to them. So it was really my first time giving that interview, and it was but it was really a very nice process to judge a candidate based on how he or she speaks and how he or she is able to articulate his words properly or not, kind of that.
Yeah, I gave the same with GSU as well. So, along with the application process, they gave us 5 questions, and they had their own video, like the the website where they want us to record, and they gave us 5 minutes. The timer was running on the screen as part of that website, and there were 5 questions listed, and we had to answer them like while recording and then submitting that. So that was something really good that I also
Correct.
went
The
across.
same happened with me as well. So when I clicked that link to record my video, it just popped up and I could just see my video running over there. And there was a timer running that I could only speak for like 3 minutes or 2 minutes. And I had to finish everything in those 2 to 3 minutes, telling everything about that question. There were two questions for me, I think. There were not 5 questions for CMU during my time,
Okay.
but it might have changed now.
So what about UB? Like if we if you can walk down what happened with your college, like the application process and everything, cut to cut,
Yes.
as per the timeline, probably if you can share us.
Right. So there were three parts in which students could apply to UB, like deadline one, deadline two, and deadline three. I was sure that I wanted to apply to UB, so I applied by before the deadline one was ending. So I was able to apply within the first deadline duration, and I got my acceptance for my application. And then for the application, I provided my GRE score, my SOP, my LOR, and I really want to mention this at this point of time that SOP, statement of purpose, is really important for all the colleges, right? Because the course you are choosing, what you have done, and how it justifies that what is the course that you are choosing, what are your future goals, you have to articulate it very properly in a very efficient way, I should say, so that it just tells the whole story, but it should not be feeling very monotonous and boring at the same time. So there should be some kind of storyline to make it more interesting. It couldn't be that monotonous. You can't write that, okay, I'm Mansha, I did my bachelor's from here.
Yeah,
Not to
because
that.
you just have to create a connection that, if you've done your bachelor's, for example, in XYZ course, and then you're coming here to do the management in information system, why? Like,
Correct.
how is your background falling into it, or if not background, but with your work ex or with your particular interest, how do you align with that particular course? So they just want to read that, rather they already have our resumes. They know that we've done the bachelor's from here, or we've worked here, we've worked there. But they just want to know us speak out loud that
Yeah.
why this course, like why do we want to do it? What is that push that we get up? So I agree to that point. And I don't know what is the scenario right now, but we were the people who were like the COVID babies for master's degree. So we were at that time, like I did not write any sort of test except for my IELTS. So I wasn't exposed to that many examinations, and that's how I could surpass that level. So SOP became the hero or the shiro of your application, actually, that
Correct.
it has to stand out, it has to speak for yourself, if not the uh, other scores that you have been waived off. So
Right. And especially for me, when I was applying to ASU, because I was applying without GRE in ASU, right? So SOP, as you mentioned, played a very important role for me as well because it had to stand out. And also, I would like to mention for ASU, I had, because I did not choose to go with GRE thing, right? I had two essay questions that I had to write that why I am not applying with my GRE score. So it was more on the lines of about me. They wanted to know me on the personal level. So as far as I remember, the one of the questions were, what happened in your life that changed you, something around those lines. So they wanted to know about some experiences on my personal end, and the other is, why did you not apply with GRE score? So I had to write that, okay, I took GRE from home, but since you're not accepting, I cannot.
very, very life related questions. Like, I'll not tell all of them, but with my application at Georgia State, there was one question asking that if you can pen down an incident from your life uh, where you were not able to speak up, and somehow you took all those things maybe at a personal end or a professional end. And there was a second part to that question asking that what if that incident happened to you again now, and
Hmm.
how differently you tackle that situation now as compared to how you did it that time. So, you know, while, for example, we're sitting like this here, and then you talk about that situation, and then you right now think, okay, then I behaved like this, and right now I would have dealt with the situation, for example, like this. So those are the type of questions they ask you. They do not ask you anything regarding algorithms or the curriculum
Yeah.
related. It's more of life questions, and there can be different questions for different people. So it's not necessary that same set of question go for one individual or all of the individuals. So it differs there. So that was a very good way to actually, see how a person perceives in certain situation, how they act, react, or anything of that sort. So that was the best thing that I found when I was applying for colleges here. And so do you with those
Right.
experiences.
Right. And it actually makes you think, okay, so this is the question. The past was this, the present is this, and the future is this. So how would I tackle it differently? It really makes you think. These questions are very good behavioral questions. I truly feel that.
Yeah. So yeah, I let you complete
Yeah.
the timeline.
So coming back to the Buffalo application process, um, yeah, so I applied with GRE, the TOEFL score, and SOP, LOR. I took LOR from one of my senior managers from Deloitte at Deloitte. Yeah, these were the four things. Of course, they also ask about transcripts and your passport size photo if they want, the generic things, right? But the main thing was this only: LOR, SOP, GRE, and TOEFL score. So I gave TOEFL. I did not give IELTS. So this was how the things worked out for me when I was applying to university at Buffalo. Things were a bit different with ASU, as I mentioned, because I did not apply with the GRE. But the other three things, SOP, LOR, and no, SOP, LOR, and TOEFL score, yeah,
Okay.
that remained the same for all the other universities as
Okay. So, if I may ask, like, if you could let the folks know that with UB, what was the minimum score that they needed as part of GRE and TOEFL for your degree course? So, what was the benchmark for them that they gave on the website?
well. On the website, I think it's 312, which
Okay.
is written, but for my class, with what I've talked to a lot of students about this, right? That, okay, what was your GRE score? What was your GRE score? And I got to know that 310 to 325 is something people generally have. But on the website, I think it's 312 or 315 as far as I
Okay.
remember.
And
Yeah.
what about TOEFL score?
TOEFL score is not, I don't remember if it's mentioned on UB's website, but what I heard from seniors was that you should be able to pass all the benchmarks. So in TOEFL, we have four sections, right?
Okay.
Reading, writing, speaking, and listening. So in all the sections, there are the passing marks for all the sections.
Yeah.
So you should be passing all the marks in
Mm.
order to get into the universities, because sometimes what happens is that universities do have that benchmark as the normal benchmark, that okay, you should be able to score like 25 out of this, 27 out of this. So it's really important to score good in TOEFL, not only like the overall number but also in all the sections. That is really important.
Got it.
Yes.
Got it. That's good that you could mention the score so that everyone is able to know it. So, and once that is done, you get the offer letter, and then that's the next process that you go ahead with the I-20s, the visa process, and then
Right.
obviously flying to
So
Trinity.
once we are admitted, it also happens. I think it happened in the deadline one only, that we had to give our financial documents also to prove that okay, we are
Yeah,
financially good.
that's how they release the I-20 from
Correct.
the PSO office. Correct. So probably we'll get hold of before we get hold of I-20 and the visa process, like after you get admitted. I just wanted to complete all the before admit questions. That were there any other like aspirations of your, Mancha? Like, was it always doing masters from US, or was it, a thing that you wanted to do masters from a different country, but US happened by chance, or was it you were planning for some other course in your home country? So were there any choices there in terms of countries, if we talk about of picking up colleges?
Yes, absolutely. So I also gave CAT. I was confused between two things. Okay. I either wanted to do MBA from India. Okay. I wanted to do my master's from India or USA. There was no other country for me. Somehow it happened like I just wanted these two countries or nothing. So I gave my CAT examination, which is very famous in India for MBA. I got my score. I got a good score, but because I could not pass the cutoff marks for DILR, I remember. I was not admitted to the IIMs that I wanted to. So it was because I only wanted good colleges for my masters. I couldn't get
Certainly,
into
that's
IIM.
the case. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was not able to get my IIM of the good IIM.
Yeah.
That's and I, at the same time, when I was giving my CAT, I was also preparing. We were preparing for GRE as well.
Mhm.
So it's not the exact similar syllabus,
Yeah.
but somehow it trains you,
It
right?
it still is in the same direction at least, but yeah,
Right, right.
GRE needs more brushing up as compared to the others. It's like, but yeah, it's still in the same direction because I
Correct. So I
also,
gave my GRE first, and because CAT and GRE has a bit of an intersection, that
yeah.
okay, this part is the same. So I gave my GRE first, and CAT required more of extensive maths, DILR, that thing. So I worked
I
on
know.
my
I
calculator.
sat for CAT myself, so probably sailing in the same boat, wanting to
Yeah,
do my masters, but somehow COVID just turned the course of action. But yeah, so it was either MBA from India or like masters from US. That those were the only two options, Mancha, for you.
correct. Yes.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So, since we discussed everything on that end, I just wanted to ask, like the course that you picked up at UB, does it starts in different semesters? Like, does it only start in the summer semester, or there is a flexibility that you can still pick it up in a different semester, like fall or spring, or is it strictly starting in summer semester?
So now starting our batch, starting 2023, it is only summer semester.
Okay.
Before 2023, it there were two intakes, summer and spring. But now, talking just about now from now onwards, it's
Yeah.
only summer semester. So
Oh,
you have to get enrolled in summer semester.
okay. And okay, so it's like summer, fall, and then spring, and then you graduate in May, right? End of May.
Correct, yes.
So that's great. That's almost, we're almost ending March, and it's then April and May, and you're almost done. So I guess you'll just be wrapping up with your assignments, projects, exams, and everything of that sort.
True.
It's great. Those are the last few days. I also remember of my time because I graduated in summer last year, and it was pretty. The 1 year course really runs fast. Just to note to
Hmm.
everyone that you would not get much of time to think, and once you start thinking, another semester would come up, and
True.
you have to take up certain credits and other electives. So everything goes by time. So that's there with a 1 year course that you don't get a lot of student life, like not a 2 year student life sort of life.
Right.
So that's pretty quick. So without further ado, can you just walk us through once you got the admit? Okay, so it's like a big dancing celebration day with UB. Okay, I chose this and that. So how did you proceed with your after admit activities with UB, like maybe visa or I-20s? What were the things that you wanted to talk about?
Right. So after my admit to UB and the other universities, I was sure that okay, I got the admits from these universities, and now I'm finalizing that okay, I want to go ahead with UB. Now I got my I-20 for UB. I got the official letter basically. Now I wanted to proceed with the visa. For F1 visa, okay, for fall semester, it's relatively easy to get visas because when it's the onset of fall, a lot of people are applying and a lot of slots get opened. So during the fall time, you get a lot of slots. But during the summer time, because we had to land, our course was starting on, I think, 11th of July, which was Monday. So before 11th of July, we had to get our slots, right? And there were not a lot of slots. I know it was a hustle for all of us to get the slots, especially for F1 type, because during that time, a lot of students who were enrolling themselves at UB or ASU or any other university as F1 status, and joining their universities in fall, they were also applying during that time. So it was really a congestion because the slots in spring semester would open very limited, and there were a bunch of students applying for those slots, even if they wanted to go for the fall. But we had to come here early in summer semester. So I was like completely shook when I was not getting my slots within 2 or 3 weeks. And I thought, okay, I am not able to do it. I should be taking a help from an agent who was able to help me with the slots. There are a lot of agents who do help, but I took a help from one of the agents who helped me with the slot booking.
Okay, so that became a pretty easy path
Yeah,
to get
right.
hold of a
But
slot.
you know, since I'm from Haryana and Delhi was the nearest,
Hmm.
would have been a nearest slot for me. But I chose whatever slot I got because there were, as I told you, there was a crunch of slots, right? So my one of the slots was in Delhi and other slot was in Chennai. So I flew to Chennai back then, gave my interview, came back. It all happened like that. And I think a lot of students from my batch who were enrolling themselves for MIS and who were coming here had to fly different places to different consulates to get their interviews and biometrics done so that they can proceed ahead. And
I understand that because I never took an agent, but I was really relying on a lot of friends and family. They were trying to help me with the slots, and then the Telegram groups and everything came in handy.
right.
But I firstly got my slots in the Bombay consultancy, and then later, somehow one fine morning at 4 a.m. Indian time, I could see like a friend of mine saw a slot in the Delhi consulate, and that's when I got it rescheduled and like changed to the Delhi consulate. So that
Oh,
was
wonderful.
the difficult portion for me, and it just happened 10 days before my appointment that they could see like a consulate slot open for Delhi, and I was like, oh my god, it's 4 o'clock. It's okay. I just woke up and I just changed my slot. So I
Yeah.
know I came in 2022 fall, and it was really a roller coaster ride then as well. And I could imagine how 2023 would have been. So
Yeah.
that's good that you got an agent and at least you got that slot. But, anyways, it was a circus.
Right. So when it is fall and students have a bit of a more time, right? Because students have to start from August end. But if it's July,
No,
that
I actually had to start August 10th,
hmm.
but still somehow I skipped that because I wasn't able to secure a slot. So I am that student who skipped her orientation. I took
Oh,
like special permissions and even my first day of the class. So, a lot goes on that end, that how you actually put up those things. And then I was pretty late with a lot of things. So, um, but yeah, that depends on how your university wants to cater to those situations. But yeah, it usually differs for different universities. So for me, the university started like the orientation was on 12th, and
hmm.
obviously you want to go ahead and be there in the city a week or 2 3 days before, so that at least you settle up and then you start with your processes and the orientation and go around places. So yeah, for a couple of them it used to start first week of September or August end, but yeah, it just differs.
Yes.
So that's great. And how was your like later the visa process and then everything? And then what was the day that you flew for Buffalo? Um,
So once the visa process was done, and I was very sure that okay, now I'm going to Buffalo. Finally, the visa is approved, right? I booked my tickets. I saw okay which flight I would choose, and I chose Etihad for my very first flight from Delhi to Buffalo. It had two layovers in between. One was at Abu Dhabi, and second was at JFK. And my immigration was at Abu Dhabi. In during immigration process, also they ask you for the documents. They see
yeah,
okay the documentation process, the whole of just like they do in the
yeah,
immigration,
yeah.
right? Seeing the documents and just
Yeah, you
verifying.
would just have to be prepped with your college and the address and everything has to be handy. So I also went from Delhi to Atlanta and I had one layover that was at Doha.
Hmm.
And my immigration happened at Atlanta only, not at Doha. So I did everything at the Atlanta airport, all sorts of pictures and the questions and everything. And then I was, okay, enjoy your stay in the United States, and good luck for your master's. So all that. And then, you know,
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
husband.
they ask you very basic questions. Okay, where are you going to stay? Do
Hmm,
you have your rent agreement? And
yeah.
what are your majors? Just very simple questions
Yeah,
that.
very, very basic questions. And it's just after that long flight, you have to remember those things. That's the only catch there. But at least you remember the names and the addresses of everything.
True, true.
Yeah.
So once the immigration was done, I was all set to come to Buffalo. It was a really long flight because I had never had such a long flight from
Yeah.
India to Buffalo, and I was traveling for the very first time internationally. So I was also a bit scared because I had to do it all alone. Two big baggages, one cabin bag, all of that. And sometimes what happens with others, this did not happen with me, but for some students, what happened was during the layover they had to take their bags and they had to give it to the
Yeah.
other flight that
The
they are going.
connecting flight is
Correct.
provided by some other airlines. Yeah. That,
Yeah,
I also checked up that, like, it was not me, but a couple of my friends and seniors, how you're mentioning right now, they tell you, and then you see those experiences that, okay, let's just see the connecting flights are of the same airlines or not. That
right.
would save you some time, because, anyways, the layover place is also a different country. So
True.
you have to manage that as well.
Right. And since if you're going alone for the very first time on an international trip like this, you just have to be a bit mindful and a bit aware about your surroundings so that you do not, because no one wants to lose their bags, right?
Yeah,
Especially
I've
when you're
heard a
going.
lot of cases of lost bag. So I just had like a fragile sticker on all of my bags, fragile.
Right.
And it was all good. And I was like, thank God, it's all sorted. At least in the country, I don't want to lose my bags.
So true, so true. And one of my seniors also suggested me to put my name and phone number and email ID on the bag so that just in case if it gets misplaced and someone might call you, a good person might call you or email you. So have that information on your bag. So I did that too. And I saw a lot of students do that. They put
Yeah,
their stickers, they
I
put
did
their,
that. I did that.
yeah, a lot of students do that. So
So,
yeah.
was there any sort of provisions that your university had when you landed, and at least they had certain kind of transportation or anything that could drop you to your location, anything of that sort? Or it was all you who booked the transport and went home?
Yeah, it was all me who did the transport and everything. One of my uncles also suggested me that, make an account on Uber and just transfer $100 into your Uber because here
Yeah.
in the US they don't accept cash that much.
Mhm.
But in India it's different, right? But in the US they do not accept cash, so it's always good to have $100 in your wallet so that you are good to go
Yeah.
because at that point of time we do not even have our credit cards or debit
Yeah,
cards.
exactly.
I did have the forex card, so I transferred hundred
And
dollars.
Forex card has a different history altogether when it doesn't works at 9 out of 10 places.
True.
Oh, that was a bad time with a forex card. And my dad is retired from State Bank of India, and getting that forex card and everything was just, just you click it and you get it. But the forex card was a pain in the ass when I was in US, and it
Hmm.
never used to work at tons and tons of places. I don't know how, like, the merchant was not accepting or anything of that sort. And I just felt like, okay, I have money, but
Hmm.
still I
But you
can't
cannot
use
use it.
it. Yeah.
I've heard a lot of these stories with my friends that they are trying to swipe. So when we come here, we need some essentials on the very first or second or third day. So they go to our Walmart or Dollar Tree or Tops or Aldi's and they swipe it and it doesn't work.
I know.
And but luckily, with me, I had HDFC's Forex card. For me, I'm not endorsing anything or anything,
But
but
at
it
least
works for
it'll
me.
come handy. Like, for me, it's just how, different experiences makes you learn. So I just wanted to put it loud, if HDFC credit card worked, sorry, HDFC Forex card worked for you, that's great that we put it out and people know more. But I just want to say my personal experience that my SBI Forex card was not working at most of the places. So
Right.
I will not say it wasn't working at all, but yeah, couple of places where the connections or the merchant or some or the other things did not work out. So I
Right.
would really suggest that if anyone's coming and if for Mansha HDFC Forex card worked up, go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you need it actually before you actually get your credit or debit cards. The Forex card is actually your life, or maybe the cash you hold up, but at least you need some sort of cards for yourself to use
Hmm.
it for the initial number of days. So
Hmm.
since we're talking about now we have landed into Buffalo, and we're all into our rental places. So, how was the transitioning phase like when we talk about the essentials, like the initial days essentials and the bank accounts, and exploring the place? And I know it's an overwhelming thing. Uh, and how were you tackling things? And I'm happy that it was summers for you at that time. So, still more to gel up, but yeah,
Hmm.
walk us
You
down.
know, it was really overwhelming because when you land here, sometimes you're so tired. I was so tired. Luckily, I did not have that jet lag. One of my friends was jet lagged like crazy, crazy, and she was sleeping like for hours and hours and hours. One thing that I learned when I was having my international flight for a really long duration, I read it somewhere, so I wanted to try. Whenever the lights are off in airplane, you should sleep, and whenever the lights are on in airplane, you should never sleep. So that is one thing I followed, and it works for me. So when I was coming the very first time, I followed that, and during my winter vacations also I went back to India, and when I was coming back from India to Buffalo, I followed the same thing, and luckily I did not have any jet lag. So I think it worked for me. I don't know if
Yeah,
this is some kind of superstition or I'm just believing
yeah.
it, but it worked
Or
for
else
me.
things also work out that way is that, whatever times you're reaching like US, probably sleep that time. Like don't try to wake yourself up. So I landed at 5:30, in the evening, and it took me like couple of hours to get my baggage, my immigration, and all sort of things. And I came out of the airport at around 7, like 6:30,
Hmm.
7 o'clock, and at 8 o'clock, I reached my place where I was supposed to. I just showered. I ate what my mom packed for me. I
Right.
just slept because it was around 9:30, late in the night, and I just slept and I woke up next day at 9 o'clock, and I never got that jet lag feeling. I was, all good, all happy that I took that sleep. So probably sleep around when you reach that place and don't try to wake yourself up and stuff like that, or else how she did it.
No, no, no. I think you're absolutely right. So I also landed around 5:30 here at Buffalo, and I was here at my place by 6 or 6:30. But after that I was feeling very tired. I had to stop myself for sleeping at 7 p.m. because I did not want my cycle to get
Yeah,
corrupted.
yeah.
So I just
Yeah.
waited till 9 p.m. I
Mhm.
had my dinner, I did my bag thing. I had to pull my bag from ground floor to the first floor.
Okay.
So I did that, and after that, I just waited for till 9 p.m. and I was all set to sleep. Next morning, I was like, I had a wonderful baby sleep.
I agree to that point, and it was really nice because it's pretty quiet here when we see, and it's all good. I also slept up really nice. It did not feel like that it's a new country or anything of that side. And eventually after days, it just hits you that you're not at home and this and that. So, how were the next couple of days?
Yes. So once this one day was done and we woke up the next morning, I think a lot of people would have reached Buffalo at that point of time. So the people who reached in Buffalo, we just made a group and okay, let's go to Walmart and buy something for us. That was one thing. So during the whole day, we went to Walmart, we went to Tops to see what are we getting, what are the prices, because everything is in dollars here. Everything is new, right? We are just moving down the aisle in Walmart and Buffalo, and we are overwhelmed seeing so many products all at one place because Walmart is very big if we go there for the very first time. Yeah. And yeah, we had to get our comforters because we want to sleep. If we do not have the mattresses, we had to get our mattresses and pillows and like the main essential things for the first and second day. Once we are all set up with these main things, I think the rest of the week was more about getting your bank account opened, or going to the university and see how the university looks like, and just enter the university to see, because we
Yeah.
were really intrigued, okay, how our university looks. And at university at Buffalo we have two different campuses, the
Okay.
south campus and the north campus. So the south campus and north campus are approximately 20 minutes away via drive. So, but there are buses connecting the south campus and north campus. So after every 20 minutes, after every 10 minutes, there are buses, universities buses, which
Okay.
is free of cost. We sit in those buses from the south campus and they take us to the north campus. So
So
we are,
how, like, sorry to cut you there, but how did you like commute from your like, what are the, okay, let me just rephrase it, that how are the places that are most preferred to stay if you are at UB, so like the most preferred living places for students?
right. So I think 80 to 90% of the international students, just talking about the
Yeah.
international students, they stay at South Campus. Because there is South Campus and there are a lot of houses around South Campus. Okay. And there are two bus stops, the university's bus stops near South Campus. One is the Goodyear bus stop, and there are a lot of houses around Goodyear bus stop, a lot of houses around Goodyear bus stop, and there is main circle bus stop. And around the main circle bus stop also there are a lot of houses. Of course, we have different streets over here. One is Niagara Falls Boulevard Street, one is Englewood Street, Caledine, Lisbon, Merrimack, a lot of streets, right? And every street has a different uh, uh, duration, like the walking duration. So you just have to choose the closest
Yeah.
street to the bus stop so that it's easier for you when you walk, because we have to walk every day.
Yeah.
You
Walking is
would
a
not.
thing here. Yeah, I guess you'd know when you'll come here. Walking is
Yeah,
actually a thing. And when we say like 20 minutes walk, I have done that being a
yeah,
student. I can do it as of now as well. But yeah, obviously it depends from situation to situation when you have that liberty to, take that drive as well. But yeah, as a student, I've done that 15, 20, even 25 minutes of walk. And
yeah.
that's normal. When you hear it for the first time, maybe it's too much that, you walk
Mm.
in the sun or at night or whatever. But, 20, 25 minutes is basic to, walk out and see all those things. And like you were mentioning these places, how are your reactions?
Oh
Uh,
my God,
like
okay.
right now, it's on the tip of your tongue that all these places, but they would have been really difficult to memorize and know it at the initial days as well.
True, true, absolutely. When I was talking to seniors about, okay, I'm getting this house at this place, this house at this place, and the lease agreement is about this and this,
Mhm.
the first thing for me was to memorize the street names. I had to write it down in the initial
Yeah.
phase because I could not remember, okay, what is Merrimack? How do I write it on Google, right? Because I had to search, okay, if it's like 135 Merrimack Street and I have to walk from 135 Merrimack Street to UB's bus stop, how much time would it take me?
Yeah.
Because eventually the rent and the walking distance are the two most important things when we are considering any house. So,
That choices never leave you when you're an international student. First, you choose between college, then you
yeah.
choose between where do I stay, then you choose between, okay, should I get this cup from Walmart or should I get the same cup from Target? Like, which one's economical? So,
True.
a lot goes there when right now, after spending 1 year, now we know, okay, um, Target is the best place for these things, Walmart is the best place for these things, or any other local supermarket stores or anything of that sort. But those were the times when you usually used to get overwhelmed, see the prices, okay, whereas like, yeah, I was about to ask you like how are the grocery things for you, and I guess
Yeah.
we'll be coming down to that. But that's such an overwhelming thing to keep in mind that a lot has to be catered for us, you know.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
how was your
So,
grocery run? First of all,
from my house, it's actually 7 minutes walk to Tops. So we used to walk to Tops for 7 minutes, and we used to pull groceries. All of the girls would go there, get those groceries and stock up in our kitchen.
yeah,
And this would happen every weekend, I think,
yes.
because we were five girls living together, and we could not get a lot of things in our hands because here the thing is you do not get those plastic poly bags to hold. You
Oh,
get
you
those,
don't?
no, we don't over here.
Oh,
You get
Atlanta
those
does give
brown
us.
brown
We used to
bags, and
get those brown bags, yeah.
yeah, we get those brown bags, especially from Dollar Tree. So we have to hold them like this and
Dollar Tree is every student's favorite place. Till
true.
now, I like Dollar Tree. Like when I shifted here in Texas, I went to Dollar Tree, I guess, once. But Dollar Tree is the best deal you could get on anything. And as the name says, it's dollar and 25 cents for everything.
Yeah, everything, right? For if you are having a birthday party or if you want to get
Anything,
a
yeah.
cup, mug, any kind of crockery, Dollar Tree is the best thing
Yeah.
because you get it cheapest over there,
Yeah,
right?
it's the cheapest. I agree. I agree. So
Yeah.
that being said, like that was a good discussion. I guess probably everyone could get an idea like where they could get all those things. And I guess everything is at a fair distance, what I could hear from
Yeah.
you.
And apart from tops, also we have Aldi's at almost 15 minutes walk. So if we did not want to go that ways, we would want to go to Aldi's because a few things are cheaper in tops, a few things are cheaper in Aldi's.
Yeah.
So
It's
which
with
time you
time
will
you
eventually
realize
pick?
it that okay, this bunch is, like by $1 or $2 cheaper as compared to here. So, you have those specific setup that okay, we'll get this from here and that from there. So yeah, that's I guess normal human
Correct.
nature.
And one thing I really want to highlight over here is going to Walmart. So we did not go to Walmart by cabs in the initial phase. So
Mhm.
our university on every Saturdays, our university provides a shuttle bus in which all the students can go to Walmart, and it would just stop the bus at Walmart. You can just go out, and there are timings. So the bus would drop you at 12 noon, then bus would pick up you at 2 no, 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. or 4 p.m.
Oh,
After
that's
every
nice.
1 hour, yeah, bus runs to and fro. So after every hour, you have the opportunity to hop in the bus. So for example, if you missed 12 noon bus, you can just hop in 1 p.m. bus and you can go to Walmart and you
That's
can come
great.
back.
That's
Yeah,
that's really great, and thanks for sharing that at least. And Walmart is one-stop shop where you get everything, from
true.
like anything to everything. It's you have the groceries and you have the bakery and you have clothes, you have home and furnishing and everything. So, I got my initial like work desk and chair from Walmart. So, that has everything actually out and about. So thank you for sharing that. And with that being said, I know the first couple of days would have been a gigantic ride for you to actually set up your place and, being away from family and starting with school. And obviously, people like us who have experience and then they come back to college, it becomes a little difficult on that end to actually, get used to that atmosphere. And the education system is really different from what we have seen
Correct.
during our bachelor's. So, um, how was your job search? I wanted to talk more about it regarding how was your job search and with the current times with the job market being really thin,
Hmm.
what is your experience with the current job market?
So the job market, as we all know, is not really great at this point of time. Even if the job profile matches your profile, the job description matches your profile, it's not a sure shot that you would get it. Somehow or the other, you would face some kind of rejection, and you should be mentally prepared for it because it's not about the skill set, it's more about the operations and
Yeah.
business about the firm, right? But yeah, we all have been receiving a good amount of rejects, and it's not just cybersecurity, it's about software engineering, data analytics, business analytics, every domain. So across all the domains, all the students, because we all talk about this right now,
Yeah.
right? Because we are going to get graduated in like 3 months from now, and it's high time we should be getting a good job, but
Yeah.
the job market is not really nice. We all are trying our best. We all are applying for like 20, 30, 40, 50 jobs as per we get time every day.
Yeah.
But
Because
some
I know your semesters are on, and with that being said, you are searching for jobs and added pressure that obviously with international student we have the bar that we have to keep a CGPA of 3.0
yeah.
within each semester, and we can't go below that. So that's
Yes.
also one thing. And yeah, so if I may ask, what are the job roles that you are specifically looking out for after you graduate?
Right. So I have 3 years of work experience with Deloitte in cyber risk services, wherein I worked on data classification, data loss prevention, information rule sets management, Azure information protection, all of that data protection and data privacy things. I also had a chance to work on GDPR, CCPA assessments, and PCI DSS assessments also. So right now also I'm looking more towards these jobs because I bring that skill set and experience from Deloitte, and I would love to go into the same direction. I really like working on these things. And so I'm really open to GRC roles, governance, risk, compliance, data privacy, the audit and assurance things. Because yeah, this is my forte and this is what I have been doing in Deloitte for 3 years. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I want to take a moment here to everyone watching. If you are hiring or you know of anyone who is hiring for GRC roles, data classifications, or data privacy, audit assurance roles in your organizations or somewhere else, we'll have Mansha's LinkedIn link below in the description box, and you could just reach out to her, touch base with her, have her resume. If all these skill sets actually match up with the job description at your organization, it would be a great help for all of us to help her together in getting her first job after her graduation. So, yeah, we'll have her link down in the description box below so that we could keep the conversation going on the job part. So, I really wish you good luck, and maybe things work out soon for you. And I know I've been into that place. So, I really want things to get better and better for everyone. So,
Definitely. Thank you so much, Saman.
no worries, no worries. Anything that we could do for people in the same community is something really important. So, with that being said, we're at the really last edge of the podcast discussion, and I know by now everyone would have gotten good feedback about UB, the rent, the groceries, the initial days essential items, how the college really helps you with the transportation, and then with the curriculum, with the selection process, the application process, the visa process, and a lot of other things that Mancha at her end could drill down and could share it with everyone. But yes, that being said, there could be certain situations where there could be more of personal questions. And yes, as said, we'd have all her social handles below in the description box below so that you can annoy her the most and ask her a lot of questions on that end. So there's just a couple of more things that I wanted to ask before we close off, Mansha. One is there are situations when we come up to a new country and where we think, okay, oh my God, how would we tackle these situations? Or on the other hand, we are just really confident about things that these are the things we'd be really good at. So can you just walk us down through two situations where you thought things would go really south, but it was a cakewalk? And things where you thought that, it will be a cakewalk, but it was really messy. So
Okay.
something that went the opposite to what you thought or prepped for.
Right. So I think there are a lot of things like this. So I did not thought that job process would such be a very big thing and we had to apply because this is a very exhausting process, right? We have to upload our resume, create a portal, and I was not prepared for it, honestly. I should say I was mentally prepared that okay, I have to apply for jobs, I have to do this and that, but I did not know it's such a very exhausting process. So yeah, you have to be mentally prepared for it, that yes, it is going to be exhausting, and yes, you took it, like you came to US for this, right? So you should be prepared for it. That's one thing. And the other thing is there are a lot of times you feel that oh my god, there are a lot of things to work on, your assignments, your research paper, your EAD date and whatnot. So just be prepared for those things, and eventually everything flows and goes. uh, if you have control over it, go ahead and do that thing. And if you do not have control over that thing, just, I think, just let it be. Things will flow, and eventually everything will be good.
Yeah, I understand. And there are times when you will actually feel like 24 hours is not enough. And there are
True.
times when you'll think 24 hours is more than enough for this and I can do it. So you just have to multitask here with a lot of things, handling your place, cooking, studying, applying for jobs, and then getting things sorted for the weekend. You'll have a lot of tasks to do to get a lot of groceries and everything. So it's like a vicious weekend cycle that we work on. And it's important for you to stay healthy as well, keep eating, because if you do not get yourself a glass of water, nobody will. So you have to be all prepped up for all these things, like we were talking about. And it's not a difficult task. All of us have been doing this and
Yeah.
have done this and are doing it still. But it just takes certain level of motivation to do it, because that's what we're here for, to excel.
Correct.
Yeah. And
We just have to be mindful of with all these things that,
yes.
yeah, health plays a like the super important role. If our health is good, everything should be
Yes,
good.
I agree. And before we head down with your one advice for people who wanted to come to UB, can you just quickly talk about any sort of community contributions and essentials of networking and other things that you have seen it? Maybe the community contribution towards being part of your like towards part of your college, that you've been part of couple of activities. So what all things could a new student get exposed to as part of UB in terms of community work, or any sorts of networking events, or maybe how you got through like the online, like through your college, any community work, or maybe through LinkedIn or any other resources outside of college you were able to get connections, networking, or any sort of conference presence or scholarships, anything, like if you want to talk about couple of them.
Right. So University at Buffalo School of Management does not offer any scholarships. So I was sure that I wanted to apply for some or the other scholarships so that it becomes easy for me on the financial side. So I applied to one scholarship. I know there are not a lot of scholarships that sponsor students, but there are a few scholarships, right? So just be mindful about the deadlines and apply for those scholarships. It might be a very difficult process back then because we are all stuck up with I-20, the timeline, and the visa process. And at the same time, these scholarships have their deadline too. So just keep a track of those scholarships and their deadlines, because we would require LOR again for those scholarships. So whoever you are asking about the LOR, just make sure you get a good LOR for the scholarship as well. That is one thing related to the scholarship. The next is networking. I think it's really very important to have good network. Even if you do not have network right now, you can choose to build your network before coming to the US. Interact with as many people as you can. Go to a few conferences nearby. Sometimes it is paid, sometimes it is free. So you can choose to attend those conferences, and you really get to learn a lot in these conferences, right? And the other thing is, talk to professors about where are you standing right now, where do you want to go, what are you thinking. Professors over here are really very helpful, I tell you. They are very helpful. They listen to you if you're going through a down phase. They do listen to you and help you out. Okay, this is something you can do, this is something you can do. They give you options to work on based on your profile and your requirement, which is really a good thing, because you need that mental support sometimes. You cannot call your family and friends at that point of time
Yeah.
and share everything with them, because they do not know the depth of it. But your professors and your friends here in the US
Mhm.
do know it, right? So having a good circle and having talking to good professors is really important thing. You can build your connections with the professors that ways also. Just keep on hard working, I would say, with your all the things, like with your assignments and everything, so that you learn also.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is something I would really like to tell people.
Yeah. Professors are really important because they have a huge network. with different professors of different other colleges, or maybe, in the city, knowing a lot of organizations who work. So it's very important for you to be as close to your professor in terms of, knowing obviously academically where you are, and also, if they could help you in any ways in building up your first career here after your
Yeah.
graduation. And in any ways, they have a lot of opportunities in terms of, getting student scholarships for a conference, or maybe, attending a local fair.
Hmm.
There could be a lot of career opportunities as well. And with that recommendation, you could use to attend that particular event. So that becomes really handy when we talk about professors. And it's not necessary that you only connect with professors of your department. You actually can see a lot of professors through your website, and then know what's their appointment hours, and then you could visit them and
Right.
talk and see what all the different projects they're working on, and if you can contribute in any ways, if it's just having a learning mindset. So there are n number of possibilities that you can make up when you have your professors in line. So
Right. And just to add on to this, Saman, I think having good friends is really important, having good professors is really important. But apart from this, when seniors help you,
yeah.
just connect with the seniors at the same time because they help you a lot. I tell you, with my case, there are a lot of seniors I'm connected to, and they help me a lot whenever I'm stuck. And the guidance that we get from them, because they have been in the same boat, right?
Yeah.
So they guide you with that perspective, and it becomes really helpful. Sometimes your professors are not able to help you that much with respect to some XYZ very peculiar thing, right? And your friends who are in the same batch, they are also going through the same thing. So you would want someone who has gone through that phase, and your seniors are your best friends
I
then.
know, because they have seen the ground reality. They have been there from day one. And like, we were sitting together. I am from a different college and city, you're from a different college and city, but there are a couple of things that I haven't done correctly, that I have done mistakes onto. And that's how I want to put it out, that okay, I did something wrong here. My plans did not work out. So I would want to suggest you go for this. So,
Right.
there are things that you did mistakes on, and probably you can give out the better versions of what you did to people who are coming after. And that's how you actually, help others. And they are your only family here when
Correct.
we just talk about a new country. So that goes without saying. So thank you so much for sharing that. And with that being said, we come down to the last part, where any sort of advice, any sort of last words on this platform, like on this podcast, you want to give out to folks who are planning to come to UB for maybe the same course or for a different course, or anything that you want to share.
Yeah, I think it's really important to have that patience when you are applying to colleges and getting your admits. And once you have that admit, just do not lose hope on getting the visa slots, because one after the other, you will have things to do, and just be prepared for it mentally. You have to be just mentally strong and just take care of your health. Everything else will fall in place. This is what I have learned. And it's easier to say this, but when you are in the boat and when you are dealing with all these things, you get to understand, okay, what patience actually means. And when we say patience, it actually means, okay, just sit there and you don't have to do anything, just be there, and time will do its thing. So yeah, being patient is the most important thing here.
I agree. I agree. And that really pays off with the time, because it's not like you're here for a holiday and
Yeah.
you'll chill and you'll go back. It's like you're here to make a career for yourself, make a place for yourself. And you know, not everyone's situation is the same. Everyone's coming from a different background and how they are tackling to things. And that's how we actually push each other together into this, to have that patience, to have that perseverance, confidence, and then you actually land up somewhere or the other with everyone,
Right.
putting you
But
in place.
we should not interchange two words. I mean, we should be having the patience, but at the same time we should be working really hard towards it.
Yes, yes,
Do the
yes,
work.
correct. You
It's
don't
not
have
like
to stop
they.
it. Yeah, you don't have to stop
Yeah.
working. No, that every day is a challenge. Like, it's not a thing that one day you're just doing everything you can, and the next day is a chill day for you. No,
Yeah.
here every day is a hard working day, is a struggle day. It's just not, with struggle and with hard working, we do not entail to say it's just you're studying or you're working on projects or you're applying for jobs. It's also like walking for 20-25 minutes, going to a place, getting your things for the week, coming back, setting up, cooking, and all sorts of things, cleaning your space and setting up your place. So everything comes handy, and yes, there comes birthday parties, birthday treats, going
Mhm.
out, exploring the city, and that's totally fine. I might have guessed that you would have seen the Niagara Falls by
Yeah.
now. And it's beautiful. You would have seen the snowfall. That would have been
Absolutely.
brutal but beautiful. So
Yes, absolutely.
that's the thing. That's the beauty of this place, that you have good and bad all balanced up. And
True.
yeah, that's how you succeed in life, because
Yeah.
somehow you have to feel your struggles so that you actually get hold to that place. But yeah, thank you so much for summing everything up for us. And that was really a great hour where we discussed everything about UB and other colleges as well, briefly. But yeah, specifically UB, about the curriculum and all other things. And I hope anyone who is planning for this summer, probably it's late for this summer to watch this video, but probably somebody who's coming next year for summers or for maybe fall course, it would be great to watch this video and get through all the details and see the things through your eyes. And I would really want to thank again for coming here, for taking out that time. And yes, I really wish you luck uh, for the graduation. Obviously, that's a big, big day. That's why we were here for. And then I really wanted to wish you luck that you get your first break here. And thank you so much again.
So thank you, Saman. Thank you for having me on this podcast. I was really happy to share my experience with everyone, and I'll be glad if this experience would help students who are aspiring to come here. I'm sure this would help them. So thank you so much for having me on this podcast.
Thank you so much. And thanks everyone for watching it. And we'll be back with another episode soon. Bye.